Look at any photo you trust. Now imagine its edges sliding outward like a window getting wider and wider. The thing that would change your mind isn't in the picture at all. It's the half-inch just past the edge, the part the photographer cut off on purpose. Every photograph is a rectangle, and a rectangle is a decision. Somebody stood in one spot, pointed a lens, and drew a box around a thin slice of the world. Everything inside the box is what they wanted you to see. Everything outside it simply stopped existing. We call that framing, and it's the most honest-looking lie we've got. Here's the strange part. Your brain treats the frame as the whole story. You don't look at a picture and wonder what's 3 feet to the left. The edge of the photo feels like the edge of reality. The people who make images for a living know that, and they build their entire job around it. Start with the simplest move, the tight crop. Picture one person standing alone on a beach at sunset. Peaceful. A little lonely even. Now slide the edges back. On the left, a packed parking lot. On the right, 200 other people with the exact same idea, all holding up phones, all cropping each other out of the identical shot. The empty, serene beach was completely real. It was just a rectangle 2 feet wide, floating in the middle of a crowd. That's the whole trick. And once you see it, you start seeing it everywhere. The waterfall with nobody around it, taken by leaning over a railing packed 3 deep. The quiet mountain road, shot in a 10-second gap between cars. The lone traveler at a peaceful sunrise temple, standing at the front of a line of 40 people, all waiting their turn for the exact same alone photo. The cozy little cafe table, the perfect latte, the soft morning light, surrounded, just out of frame, by a tripod, a ring light, and somebody's takeout bag propping up the menu. And it cuts both ways. The same crowd can be made to look enormous or tiny, depending only on where you stop the rectangle. Crop in tight on the one packed cluster near the stage, and a half-empty event looks like a sold-out sensation. Pull the edges wide to take in all the gaps, and a busy gathering suddenly looks like a flop nobody bothered to attend. Same people. Same day. 2 completely opposite stories. And the only thing that changed was the size of the box. So whenever you see a crowd in a photo, and somebody's insisting it was massive or insisting it was nothing, remember, you're not seeing the crowd. You're seeing the rectangle they chose. Now flip it around. Photos don't just hide what's around the scene. Sometimes they hide the fact that the whole scene was built. Think about the word candid. A candid photo is supposed to be a stolen moment. Real life caught by accident. Someone laughing mid-sentence, not even looking at the camera. It feels true precisely because it looks unplanned. But a huge number of the candid images you scroll past every day were staged down to the last finger. The laugh was on the count of 3. The person looking away was told to look away. The messy, lived-in kitchen had every coffee cup placed by hand. Real spontaneity is hard to photograph. Fake spontaneity is easy. You just crop out the moment right before when everyone got into position. And this isn't new. Long before phones, before filters, photographers were already arranging the truth. Some of the most famous images in history, the ones in your textbooks, the ones you'd swear were grabbed in a single split second, were set up. People were asked to move. Moments were redone for the camera. And often the photographer didn't even hide it. They just framed the shot so tightly that the staging fell outside the rectangle, and a century later we treat the result as a frozen accident. A lot of the history you picture in your head is really a series of very well-cropped photographs. Now let's talk about the place where this gets turned into an actual science: real estate. You felt this one. You scroll a listing, and every room looks huge, bright, and somehow floating in open space. Then you walk in, and the spacious living room is the size of a closet. That gap isn't quite a lie. It's a lens. A wide-angle lens stretches a small room until the far wall looks a mile away. The photographer stands in the doorway, or even back in the hallway shooting in. The bed that fills the entire bedroom gets framed so the edges barely show. And the window is doing the most work of all. Point the camera toward the one nice view, and away from the parking lot, the dumpster, the neighbor's wall 4 feet away, and suddenly a cramped apartment becomes a sun-filled retreat. Nothing in the photo is fake. It's all about where the rectangle stops. Product photos play the exact same game. The burger in the ad is real food, propped up with cardboard, brushed with oil to look juicy, lit by a team of people, and shot from the one angle where it looks twice its real height. Then they crop out the cardboard, the brush, and the 4 crushed rejects sitting just off to the side. What you get is a clean rectangle of pure want, with all the machinery hidden 1 pixel past the border. And here's the beat that ties all of it together: the crew. Behind almost every clean, simple, beautiful image, there is a mess. Lights on stands, cables taped to the floor, a big white reflector held up by an assistant you will never see, a second camera, a coffee cup, a sandwich, 3 people staring at a screen. The more effortless a photo looks, the more effort is usually hiding just outside it. That gorgeous portrait with the soft, dreamy glow? The glow is an expensive light 2 feet to the left, cropped clean out of the frame. So why do we keep falling for it? Why doesn't your brain put up a fight? Because a frame gives you a feeling of completeness. The edges are clean and sharp, so the story feels clean and sharp too. There's no ragged hole where the missing information should be. The crop seals it shut. There's even a name for the wider habit. We judge the world by what's right in front of us, and quietly assume that's all there is. A photo is that bias in a box. It hands you a confident, finished-looking rectangle, and your mind fills in the rest. And everything around it was probably just like this. The most powerful thing about an image isn't what it shows you. It's that it stops you from asking what it didn't. But here's the good news, and the whole reason this is worth knowing. The trick only works while it's invisible. The second you start asking the question, the spell breaks. So here's how to break it yourself. 3 quick habits. 1. Ask what's just outside the frame, every single time. If a beach looks empty, picture the crowd. If a room looks huge, picture the photographer wedged into the doorway. Mentally grab the edges and pull them back. 2. Look for the lean. Wide-angle shots bend straight lines. Walls curve. A normal room balloons outward at the corners. When the geometry looks a little off, the lens is doing the lying for somebody. 3. Ask why this exact moment. A photo is 1 frame out of thousands. If it looks too perfect, the perfect laugh, the perfect light, the perfectly tidy desk, somebody chose it out of a giant pile, or set it up, or both. Perfect is a clue, not an accident. None of this means photos are out to get you. A picture isn't a crime. It's a choice. A frame somebody drew around the part they wanted you to keep. The lie isn't in what's inside the rectangle. It's in the quiet, confident way the rectangle pretends to be the whole world. So the next time an image stops your scroll, the dream apartment, the perfect meal, the effortless candid, the empty, serene view, do the one thing the frame was built to stop you from doing. Zoom out. In your head, slide those edges back and ask who's standing just past the corner, holding the light, waiting for you to believe the box is everything. It almost never is.